Hi, let's see this permutation in string 567 Leetcode question now. The question here is given here is they are giving two strings and then we have to see if a permutation of the S1 string exists in S2 string, which means we have to see if AB exists in S2 in any order. It can exist as BA or AB. If S1 is ABC, for example, it can exist as ABC or BAC or CAB or CBA. So it can exist in any form, but it has to be a continuous substring of S2. So this S1 is AB, and then the the output has to be true because we encounter one BA here, so which is a permutation of S1. So we can achieve this by uh, taking two different dictionaries, which one will have. So if we take D1 and D2, one dictionary will have the count of the characters in S1, and the other dictionary I will be using to store the characters of a window which I'll be taking, and then I'll compare that with the dictionary that I am taking here, taking for S1. So the idea here is to loop through the S2, and so whenever you encounter two number, for example, S1 has length of 2. So reach, if you iterate and then reach the window to be length, which if you reach a window which has length 2, then you stop there and you compare the dictionaries. So if the dictionaries are equal, then you return true, or else you return false. That's it. So let's loop through S1 first and store it in the dictionary. So we have to uh, initialize the dictionary, right? So I'll be doing it as D1 and D1. Fine. Now let's see what D1 parents. Okay, so D1 is exactly has the number of characters as S1. So the count of A in S1 is 1 and count of B is 1. So D has that. Now we traverse through S2. While you're traversing through S2, we have to store it in another dictionary. And then we compare that window dictionary. So D2 will have the count of the window that we are traversing at that time. For example, if we have a window of starting from 0 and ending at 1, this is the window, right? So we'll have these elements e equal to 1 and I equal to 1 in D2. So that's what we want. So I'll check if S of right exists in D2. So then I will D of S of right. So I'll basically increase the count, or else I'll just initialize it to 1. Okay, now we have, okay, this has to be S2, S2, and S2. So if you look at here, we have S2 as we have D2, which has the count of all the characters in this. So there are 3 O's and there is 1 A, there is 1 B, there is 1 D, there is 1 I and 1 E. So we don't want all of the characters to be present in the dictionary, because we don't really are comparing S1 and S2 as is. we have to shrink the window to match the length of the S1. So now we'll see if right minus left plus 1 will be equal to the length of S1. If the window is, uh, so the length of S1 is 2 here, right? So if we reach a window where it is equal to the length of S1, that's when our window is valid. And then now we have to check if D1 is equal to D2. So that now if you get D1 equal to D2, then you return true. But then we have to also, if it is not true, we have to do something about it, right? So we have to basically shrink the window so that we check the next possible window. So, but before incrementing the left, we have to also delete S of left, S2, sorry. So we have to decrement it by 1. If D2 of S2 of left is already 0, we don't want to decrement it again. So to avoid that, we will just delete it. So I think, so we return true, and then after we come out of the for loop, if it doesn't return true by then, we'll automatically return false. If you don't return false here, of course, it'll, and if there is no existing permutation of S1 and S2, then it will return none. So we're just avoiding that and we're trying to return false. There is an invalid syntax. Okay, cannot access, okay. So we didn't initialize left equal to 0. Okay, it's accepted now. And then we'll see if all the test cases are passing. Yes, it did pass. So this is another form of, it's not really another form, it's a fixed window size sliding window approach that we did here. So we are just traversing the left and right based on the length of S1, and we're not shrinking left until it reaches right. I mean, we are shrinking the window. I mean, we're not shrinking the window, but we are just sliding it. So this is a fixed window. So we're either checking, so because the length of S1 here is 2, we're checking these two, and then we're checking these two, and then I mean the I and D, and then D and B, and then B and A. So all these EA and ID and DB and BA, all of these will go through this if condition, because all of them, all of these substrings EI, ID, and DB, this have the length of S1, right? So it will go into it, but then because D1 will not be exactly equal to D2, the left will be incremented, and then the dictionary 2 will decrement. We're decrementing the leftmost element in the window from dictionary 2, and then we're incrementing the left. And once all of this comes out, so it means that we're not able to find any substring uh, which we need. So it means that, so then we return false. So that's it. Yeah, if you don't return false, I think you will see here we're expected to return false, but the output is null, so we don't want that. So we return false once we come out of the for loop. That's it. Yeah, that is how you solve the permutation in string, the 567 question. This is a fixed window size sliding window problem because, as I said, we are not shrinking the left. I mean, the right is not waiting for the left to catch up. That's it. Thank you.